last week on Legally Kidnapped.
Good evening. Our top story this week, Representative Jim McDermott gets a bill passed in the House allowing the Department of Health and Human Services to grant waivers for state projects to test innovative welfare programs that helps families while keeping the kids in their home. A California judge orders the child protective industry to raise foster parent payments immediately, although the state intended to do so in July. The system sucks of Florida are upset over Governor Rick Scott's budget cuts in child welfare programs, and experts claim that Florida will never realize the savings from its new drug test for welfare recipients program. In Illinois, 2 more Catholic agencies are forced to end their adoption and foster care programs over their refusal to give your kids to gays. And Catholic Charities sues the state, claiming that religious principles supersede state anti-discrimination laws. In Nevada, a grand jury report details the failures of Child Protective Services, claiming that the agency fails to investigate allegations of child abuse in a timely manner, and says that these missed cases should trigger a policy review. In New Jersey, a DYFS hotline worker mishandles a tip about a girl who was found dead 9 days after a report of child abuse was made. In New Mexico, 2 teenage girls are arrested for smothering their foster mother to death. New York fails to make the required improvements to their foster care system regarding an improvement plan that was made in 2009. And a North Carolina judge upholds a denial of custody order against a mother with breast cancer. The Rhode Island House passes a bill allowing adult adoptees to see their original birth certificates. Oklahoma passes a bill protecting the child custody rights of parents who serve overseas in the military. And parental alienation syndrome is not likely to be included in the DSM-5. A new study from Finland reveals that children who nearly drown tend to just shake it off and get right back in the water. A study published in the Journal of Science claims that kids who went to preschool are less likely to grow up as criminals. And a Christian social charity known as CARE does a study on the commercialization and sexualization of children with recommendations such as putting age restrictions on raunchy music and banning the sale of inappropriate clothing such as padded bras and t-shirts with provocative slogans such as porn star. A Russian teenager who was adopted by an American family was raped in her new home, and the foster father claims that the relations were consensual. Japan has decided to give an allowance for the care of 201 orphans who lost their parents in the March 11th earthquake and tsunami. And Shanghai, China plans to employ 7 times more social workers than it does now by the year 2015. In Ireland this week, WikiLeaks reveals that children under the care of the Irish government have ended up in brothels. Irish foster parents are not vetted properly. An Australian professor warns Ireland against implementing mandatory reporting laws, claiming that such laws will cause the system to become overwhelmed. And South Africa begins advertising kids for adoption on TV. In Australia this week, social workers are demanding a pay raise. And a social worker gets the crap beat out of her by a 15-year-old foster kid. In Canada this week, a vigil is held for the kids who have died while on Alberta's foster care system. A mother of one of those kids goes public with her story on the internet at the risk of going to jail in violation of confidentiality laws and gag orders. And the outlook is bleak for the kids who age out of Canada's foster care system, resulting in 40 to 60% becoming homeless at age 18. In England this week, foster parents are worried about a £700 a year loss regarding a housing benefit for a spare bedroom. Senior staff at the Kent County Council have been allowing social workers to take the blame for child protection failures. Ofsted plans tougher inspections for adoption. The British child protective industry is urging gay couples to become foster parents to ease a crisis-level shortage of homes for the overabundance of stolen children. And Catholic adoption agencies in England are fighting to stay alive in light of their refusal to support gay adoption. One of the social workers who is said to have helped in the baby P failure wins damages from a British newspaper. Sarah Ferguson reveals that she was the victim of child abuse. And a social worker gets suspended for using a cell phone while driving with a kid in the car. In entertainment news this week, Charlie Sheen and Brooke Mueller come to a new custody agreement. Camille Grammer says that she wants to come to a compromise with Kelsey. Arnold Schwarzenegger might get stuck with years of back child support payments regarding his love child. And Kate Gosselin bashes her ex-husband John on live TV. A lawyer from Florida who once helped a foster parent get out of a shaken baby accusation is arrested for forgery while defending a client in a courtroom. A Florida woman is given a a daycare license and allowed to be a foster parent despite being arrested for child abuse back in 1991. And the relatives of a dead toddler are suing the state of Florida for failing to protect the 13-month-old who died at the hands of his mother's boyfriend. The Texas Department of Labor sues the child protective industry for over $1 million in unpaid overtime for caseworkers. And a former child welfare worker from Wisconsin is being sued by a woman who he got pregnant by forcing her into sex while investigating her for child abuse. A mentally ill California foster mother who was abused as a child is on trial for torturing a set of twins in her care. And another California woman steals $500,000 from a child welfare program. Caseworker from New York gets 16 years in jail for sexually abusing a teenager. The Oklahoma City cop who stands accused of molesting one of his foster kids claims that he is innocent. Another Oklahoma foster parent gets 8 years for impregnating a 14-year-old girl in his care. And in Tennessee, a foster kid escapes from state care and burglarizes a home. In Arizona this week, a mother is disgusted with the cleanliness condition of the McDonald's play place. A mother from Georgia is arrested after her baby makes a noise in the library. In Nevada, a case runs cold 5 years after a 2-year-old disappeared from her foster home. In New York, an autistic boy is killed while being restrained at a residential treatment facility. In North Carolina, a couple of parents feel that they were wronged when Child Protective Services snatched their kid. And finally, tonight, an Oklahoma woman who was adopted in 1937 finally finds her biological mother in the cemetery. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.